Hey everybody, Max here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe Legacy Collection. Action Joe Police Emergency Service Unit. Did not know this at the time this figure was announced that there really are ESU units, Emergency Service Unit units out in the field. They kind of serve, I know that the figure kind of has a SWAT look to it, but it doesn't say SWAT on it. But the ESU units do have some SWAT functions, some EMT functions, things like that. So it sounds like, as near as I can tell, they have some kind of jack of all trades kind of police work. They are used a lot in probably major cities. But at any rate, I think it's cool that we have this in the line. I'm not really going to get into the whole controversy about it. Believe me, I could rant about it. I have my own opinions, but we're here to talk about toys, and let's just enjoy the figure for what it is. If you wanted the figure, I hope you're able to get the figure. I do think that Hasbro dropped the ball in how they released the figure without much fanfare and all that kind of stuff, and they dropped it on Amazon and a few other places. And that's where I got my figures. I was able to follow the get the alert fairly quickly and be able to order the number that I wanted. So hopefully you have too if this is a figure you are into. But package is cool. I do quite like the blue. I think it's great that we have this legacy collection. I think this is a nice little subline. I did pick up the Firefighter recently, so be on the lookout for a review of that guy. And I do hope we get some EMTs here pretty soon. That would be awesome as well. Decent artwork on the side, and then a diorama shot on the back. And I do quite like these new diorama shots they're doing, and not just the artwork. So whoever's doing these dioramas is doing a fantastic job. So, and then with QR code that goes nowhere, no stats or anything, I don't think. Yeah, no stats. But at any rate, that's the package, and I quite like it, as I've said before. So most of what you see here is well, everything that you see here comes with, but there's also a few other things. So I'll just show off what is not displayed. And like, say, this flare gun, which makes no sense why an urban response unit or emergency service unit in an urban environment would have a marine flare. I think this might be a hazard, like a fire hazard. I don't know, especially in a large city, a large urban environment. I don't know how useful this thing would be. But hey, I've known a few people in law enforcement, and if you are in law enforcement, you let me know if something like this is a part of your standard loadout. Comes with kind of a stereotypical cup of Joe, all right, coffee, no donuts, all right. I'm glad they didn't throw in donuts actually. Um, and then, so obviously he's got the helmet on over there, but I wanted to kind of show it off up front, just kind of by itself. And so this is new, and it's very cool. The visor does not rotate up, so but it is clear plastic, so there is that. Now let me shine a little light, a little extra light. But yeah, I quite like it. And the lettering turned out really well too. So it's just black plastic and clear here and there. So very cool. Let's see, what else did we come with? Okay, so it comes with, this is how it's packaged in the box. This is the rain poncho, and this is kind of what the rain poncho looks like. Got him thrown over one of one of my Valaverse figures. So kind of got Condor in one of these deluxe Steel Brigade figures. Steel Brigade, Steel Corps, I can't remember which one it is, but it drapes fairly well over a lot of loadout here. So, and the lettering turned out really well. I think this is the same pattern as the poncho for the Action Soldier, and honestly, I think this seems a little cheap, in my opinion. It gets the job done, but it's just kind of, I wouldn't get the thing wet. But yeah, and then I threw on the cap and the extra. Like I said, I've got a couple of these and the goggles onto Condor here. So we have like SWAT Commander Condor. So yeah, so gives you an idea of how much space it will cover and everything. But it's not, nothing too special. Let's see, what else would we have? So let's talk about the face sculpt, since I got the one of them with the helmet on. And this is a fantastic face sculpt here. I absolutely love this thing. The hair turned out really well, the paint, the skin tone and everything. So We do not have a younger version of Stalker, so I threw this guy on Stalker's body. The neck piece that comes with the ESU figure does not fit very well onto Stalker, so this is Stalker's neck, and you can tell that the skin tone is a little off, and the neck is probably a little too long. But on a whole, certain angles he looks all right, but just a great face sculpt, I have to say, and yeah, facial hair turns out really well. And I can't quite decide. You let me know, which one does he look better with, the beret or the helmet from Grunt. So I kind of like both, but the beret just kind of, there's something cool. And actually the kind of the thickness of his hair, the texture of his hair actually makes this helmet fit a little bit better than it does on Grunt. So yeah, not too bad. So, and they come with this auto shotty here that I don't quite like. I mean, I like this. I don't think it fits these characters necessarily, but I do quite like this auto shotty. I have one that came with the claw, and it had the paint on the magazines, the shells, the shotgun shells painted wrong. But this one is right all the way around. I've seen some that are half right and half wrong. It's a little gummy, unfortunately, but I kind of view this as more of a Cobra weapon, perhaps. I like the look of it. I'm glad to have it. The magazine does drop out, but this one just feels a little gummy, unfortunately. I do quite like. I think a modern police force would probably use a shotgun similar to like this M4 Benelli, and kind of a semi-auto kind of thing. But I got that from General Hawk, I believe. So that is one of the weapons. Oh, let's talk about the riot shield. Very cool. Scuffed up plexiglass. Looks like it's seen some use. And I just kind of realized this, that I'm willing to bet that if you heated this thing up, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm willing to bet that the handles, you probably could heat it up and pop the plugs through the shield and then rotate it around. So if you wanted it on the right now it's oriented for the left arm, and I mean, you could put it on the right, but the police would be upside down. But if you wanted it to be oriented so that the police, the word police is seen upright, I think you could probably try that. I haven't myself, but I'm thinking I will, and I think that if that becomes the new way of doing shields, that would be great. So you could probably give that a shot. And let's see, the head sculpt for the white skin dude. I kind of laughingly call these guys Crockett and Tubbs, even though they don't look anything like the guys from the show. But one thing that I really liked about this figure, really wanted about this figure, was I thought that the lighter skin head sculpt would go well with Beachhead. So we've never gotten an unmasked Beachhead, and after reading one of the silent issues that focused on Beachhead, there was like a silent issue miniseries that Skybound Image did with set in the Real American Hero continuity. You actually see Beachhead with his mask off. Now, maybe he was seen with his mask off in the cartoon. I don't recall that, but I definitely remember that issue. And this guy just kind of, yeah, I think he serves just well for an unmasked Beachhead. However, with the mask on, he has brown eyes, and this guy has blue eyes. So other than that, maybe he just wears contact lenses. So anyway, I thought that looks really cool if you want an unmasked Beachhead. So there's a lot of variability here. Then what else? Am I missing anything? Okay, let's just dive into the figure and see what else we got. So we went over the shotgun, and we went over the helmet and the face. So let's say we got this nightstick here that no police force, I don't think, uses anymore. They use more of the collapsible batons, but it is what it is. So you can, you've got that, and it has this little holster that does not retain it very well. You have painted on handcuffs, and then these that are just straight plastic, and you could probably take somebody's hands off and fit them, and cuff Cobra Commander or something like that. But the little holder in the back just doesn't quite, it's kind of flimsy, so don't expect it to hold these for very long if you're moving it around much. So, but that's where it goes. Comes with a taser on the right hand, which is probably not where, I think you have your lethal weapon here, on the vest cross draw, and then you have the drop leg holster here, the thigh holster with the taser. I don't think that's how it goes in real life. I think you have your, your lethal weapon on your right hand, on your right leg, and then you have your non-lethal here in the pouch. So, and they don't fit. I've swapped them out, and I mean, you could get the taser probably in this one, but you're not going to get that sidearm into this one. So, and this is the same taser as we got with Doc, and it is not as flimsy as the one that came with Doc. I really didn't like this one. Don't really like the taser all that much, but it's cool. I mean, it's part of a police officer's loadout. And then we have and this is the vest from Law, if you have the Law and Order figure. And I think that's the same pistol. So kind of a 1911 style that goes in here. And it has pretty good retention, this strap. It does peg in fairly well. And then you have the walkie-talkie that I actually popped out and had a heck of a time getting it back in. So this will pop out, but have fun trying to get it back in. So you can kind of manipulate this a little bit. And I've seen some people cut a seam like right here to open up the vest a bit, and it still does. They say it still does retain its tension, so it doesn't flop around or anything. So the vest, black plastic, gold on the shield. I don't think there's any kind of overspray on the paint or anything like that. So that looks pretty cool. I do quite like the belt and everything. However, I do wish that this Maglite here actually was a real piece. It's just sculpted as part of the belt, and it looks like it's got paint. They painted it in glossy black, as well as the buckle. But I wish that actually detached. That would have been great, because I don't really like having long things, like they're part of the, things that drop down that are not meant to be bent. You start moving the legs around and it bends this very obvious flashlight piece and I don't know, just kind of breaks things up for me a little bit. But let's see, the range of motion on this guy with the helmet, down's pretty good. Up is, it's got this collar, and so that's going to limit it some. These are Storm Shadow V2's arms. And you get a pretty good T-pose. Let's see. There we go. Get a little higher on the left arm. Go all the way around. Pretty good butterfly joints on both. Not sure what torso this is. Maybe it's also Storm Shadow V2. I don't think so. But it's a good butterfly joint either way. And I like that the vest is how it's cut to give you good range of motion on the arms. And we have bicep swivel like we're used to, pinless joints on the elbows. And I think I can get a little more range. Yeah, there we go. Right there. And got some black paint on the forearms with state issued, I guess that's supposed to, and then police, and then some kind of patch. Delhi Hill, interesting. Don't know what that's a reference to. Let me know in the comments section if you know. Because of the vest, he's not going to bend forward very far, but he does get pretty good side to side at the waist. That's great. And the belt, the duty belt here, it holds its shape and position for the most part, which is great. Sometimes these additional belts, they just kind of float around too much, and I just hate stuff that floats around. I don't know why, it just bugs the heck out of me. So I like things that just stay in position. So okay, so we got the same holster for the taser as we have for Doc, and then a little thigh holster or thigh pouch over here. This is probably new. I don't recognize it. And then down to the legs. And how does this cop fare on the splits? I've seen better. But haven't known many cops that do splits. It does have drop down hips, 90-degree legs. Kicks forward that far. And yep. Then we have good thigh swivel, knees very stiff. Kicks back that far. I don't recognize these boots. These are probably Outback's legs. We just get Outback legs for days, but these are not Outback's boots, I don't think. But they're cool either way. And boot swivel, and then the feet go down pretty far. Good range of motion there. And let's see if we can get a little better forward bend, a little bit. And then your typical ankle rockers. So not bad. This is a really solid figure. I'm quite pleased with it. And glad I was able to get the quantity that I wanted, so that's great. And let's see, is there anything on here that I need to, well, let's talk about the cap. And there's a little overspray on the gold on the shield, but it's pretty cool. I do like it. And then the glasses. So they're see-through, yellow, and they fit okay. You might have to heat them up a little bit and kind of pinch them in so you get a little better retention. And the cap fits fairly snugly as well. So yeah, that's the ESU figure. Let me know what you think in the comments section, guys. Don't think I left anything out. There's just so much here, but I think I covered everything. If I missed anything, I apologize. Let me know in the comments if there's something that I missed, and I will do a short video to kind of correct my mistake. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers by the end of the year, and you can help me make that happen. If you enjoy the content, give me a shout out. Glad you're here. Continue to be awesome. Oh, I got to give these guys a work factor. Yeah, so I just did a Budo video, and I gave him a 9.5. So that's what I'm going to give these guys. These are definitely up there. Other than maybe needing some different weapons, like I said, I'm going to probably kit these guys out with either like a Benelli or maybe one of the Valiverse grenade launchers, like a gas grenade or something like that, or just a standard like M16 style. Like if you want to do some SWAT type action. So I think that would probably have been more realistic than the auto shotty that we got. But other than that, yeah, warp factor of 9.5, Crockett and Tubbs. I'm glad they're part of the keeping us safe. Glad they're part of the collection. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Take care of yourselves. Continue to be awesome, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.